Hello guys, what's up my people? I hope you are all doing well. Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. Kindly continue to watch other videos, like, comment and share. And also for my new subscribers, karibuni sana. This is the place to be. Karibuni to talk to your midwife session. This is a session where we learn a lot about reproductive health, that is anything involving conception, family planning, labor, delivery, any issues with delivery, any abnormalities with pregnancies and also complications after delivery. Everything, we have a lot to talk about here. So karibuni sana. Today we have yet another very beautiful, interesting video. And not to forget, my good name is Shironas. I am your very compassionate and favorite nurse midwife. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome back again. Today we yet have a very beautiful and interesting video we need to talk about. And I'm here to talk about labor. Labor is something which always stresses a lot of people, especially for those who are yet to conceive or those who are already pregnant and are waiting for their labor to come. That is something that when you hear it being mentioned somewhere, you just get stressed. Sometimes you don't know what to anticipate. Sometimes you're so stressed, you feel like you're not ready, you feel like the pregnancy can go back to the first trimester or something. But I'm here to encourage you, and I'm here to prepare you psychologically, and also not only psychologically. Knowledge is power. So I am here to give you knowledge so that at least you know what to expect and you know what you're waiting for. So did you know that labor has different stages? Labor is not just something that happens just in the morning you wake up, you are in labor and that's it, and you deliver your baby. No, labor is a process. Labor is a word, it is a term used to explain a process of events. So it is a process of stages, several stages, or it is a process of several things that happen until we get the baby delivered, and even immediately after the baby is delivered. So we have several stages of labor, and the stages are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in total, we have 4 stages of labor. 4 stages of labor. So we need to understand each and every stage of labor, what happens into those stages, what you anticipate, how you may feel when you are in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 of labor, in all those stages. So I am here to start with the first stage of labor. So kindly sit down, relax, stay tuned, because we need to talk about this. What is this first stage of labor? And before we talk about this first stage of labor, just to clarify something, or to let you people know, especially our women, there are those women who have been complaining, even in maybe in social media when they post, and they're like, how I was admitted in labor ward at around 9 a.m. I was in labor. The nurses were telling me I am yet ready. Then yet another mother in labor came at around 12 p.m. and that mother delivered at 1 p.m. How could that happen? Me, I labored from 9 a.m. Up to, I guess, 9 p.m. Others will say I labored for 10 hours in that labor ward, whereas other women were coming and just delivering and leaving me there in labor. The reason is, now you need to understand, the reason for that is it depends on which stage of labor you are admitted at. Because when we admit you in labor, we will do a vaginal examination to see how far your cervix has opened. So in case you are at the first stage of labor, it definitely means you still have the other stages of labor to go about. Maybe this another woman was admitted 4 hours later than you, 4 hours after you, and then they came in second stage of labor. So when someone is coming in a second stage of labor, they're just going direct to the delivery coach to deliver their baby. So it depends with the stage of labor that you are admitted to. So when we tell you that, mama, we have assessed you, we have done a vaginal examination, we have assessed you, and you still have like approximately 6 more hours to go, do not panic, do not look at the other person. Also remember, we have so many other factors that determine the success or the how fast your labor will be. We have a lot of things that we consider, or a lot of things that contribute to how soft or how fast your labor will be. We have the dilatation of the cervix. We have whether your liquor has your membranes have ruptured. We have the contractions, the intensity of your contractions. Sometimes other women will be dilating the cervix, but the contractions are not strong. Others we will have to even induce, or others we will have to what we call we argument. Argumentation means we put a drip so that your contractions maybe will become stronger. Other people have contractions, but those contractions are not able to dilate the cervix. So also we have so many determinant factors on how fast your labor will be. So do not panic when you see yourself in labor. Just trust that you are in that yourself. You are not in that with your fellow mother in labor who is your next neighbor. No, this is personal. This is you and your body. This is only you. It is personal. Okay, so just to clarify. So now to our first stage of labor. First stage of labor basically is the start of everything, the start of this giant called labor. So in this stage, we have some things that do happen. Number one, your cervix will start to open. No normal labor can be defined as labor if your cervix has not yet started opening. So meaning your cervix will start opening, and the cervix is at the door which your baby will be coming through from the uterus. So it takes for the first stage of labor is divided into two. Note this, it is divided into two. We have latent phase of labor and we have active phase of labor. Okay, so latent and active. Latent phase of labor is still the first stage of labor. And at this phase, your cervix dilates from 1 centimeters to 3 centimeters before we get to 4 centimeters. So if we do our VE and we find that your cervix is 1 or 2 or 3 centimeters, we call it latent phase of labor, the first stage of labor. And with this, especially for those who are first-time mothers, this one can even take 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week. That is why someone will do a vaginal examination and they tell you, Mama, go back home, just do some good, just have some good diet, eat well, do some squatting exercises. Then you'll come back when you feel the pain is increasing, because it is not much. And by this time we only have some very mild pains, maybe at the lower tummy. Okay, it is not so much severe. So at the first stage of labor, we don't have the latent phase. We don't have a lot to concentrate on. As long as your baby's heartbeat is okay and you don't have those severe contractions, we can tell you to go back home and do some exercises and wait for you to get to the next stage of the first stage of labor. Okay, so with that, sometimes we don't even have anything. We just have the vaginal discharge. Remember, in the factors of or the signs of labor, we have that the vaginal mucoid discharge that we were talking about. That one, you will have it in the latent phase of your first stage of labor. Okay, so then there is that other stage phase, which is the active phase of labor, which is still under the first stage of labor. So active phase of the first stage of labor means your cervix has dilated from 4 centimeters to around 8 centimeters. And I will tell you why we say 8 centimeters. For the first time mothers, the second pregnancies, your cervix will have to dilate up to 10 centimeters for you to deliver. But some women, especially those who are multipara, we call them multipara, meaning they have had some previous deliveries, like 4 previous deliveries, 5 previous deliveries. Their vaginal walls and their cervix is a bit loose. So when they are in labor, they can even deliver with 8 centimeters. Okay, so the active phase of labor is from 4 centimeters until 8 centimeters for the multipara women, or up to fully before it is fully dilated cervix, that is around 9 centimeters. Okay, so that is the active phase of labor. And no nurse or no midwife or no doctor will chase you away from a hospital when you are in between this active phase of labor. Any active phase of labor, whether you are a first time mother or you are a third, fourth, fifth time mother, active phase of labor, we have to admit you, because we cannot predict how fast your uterus will be able to contract and open the cervix. So that is why we have to admit you in active phase of labor. So for the first stage of labor, we don't have much, because the contractions are still in latent phase. The contractions are just very mild pains. We even call them laps, lower abdominal pains, because it is not yet the uterus is not yet contracting. But from active phase, 4 centimeters, your uterus starts to contract. You can start feeling the on and off pain, feel your tummy becoming hard. The previous videos I explained on the signs of labor, you can now start having the uterine contractions. In the hospital, we have somewhere we record. We don't just monitor mothers in labor just like that. We have a document for just special for documenting a process of labor in a woman. Since we admit you, there is somewhere we will schedule, we will write your cervix at this time, 9 a.m., your cervix was dilated 4 centimeters. Your membranes were not ruptured, or your membranes were intact, and this heartbeat was this and this and this. Then we will have to do a vaginal examination after 4 hours from this first examination. Okay. So the contractions are not much as you are starting, but by around 4 centimeters, already the contractions are increasing. So latent phase, even if you get the contractions, we have mild, moderate, and strong contractions. For mild contractions, when the contraction starts, we can feel your tummy, then we can count the seconds. So for mild contractions, the contractions takes 20 seconds or less than 20 seconds. So once I put my hand here and I want to feel the contractions and I'm counting on my stopwatch, it goes for up to 20 seconds. That one I will classify it as mild contractions. Then we have the moderate contractions. They take between 20 to 40 seconds. So when I put my hand here and I'm counting on my stopwatch, it will go up to 40 seconds. Then that one I classify it as moderate contractions. Then as we near fully dilatation, or around 6, 7, 8 centimeters, that one, your cervix now is contracting a lot, and the contractions by then becomes stronger. Okay, so for that we call them strong contractions. And when I put my hand here and I start counting, it will take 60 good seconds, and that is a whole 1 minute. So you put your hand here, you're counting on your stopwatch, it goes up to say 60 seconds. That is a whole 1 minute. That is strong contractions. And when we see that, we will need, even if it is not yet time to do a vaginal examination, most of the time you'll find you'll find us telling you, "Mommy, let's just go and check whether your cervix has dilated," because we believe when the uterus is contracting more and more, we also believe that there should be a coordination with the cervix. So the cervix should continue to dilate and dilate. As we increase the contractions, the cervix also should continue to dilate more and more and more. So that is basically the first stage of labor. We will assess your vaginal examination, your cervical dilatation through a VE, a vaginal examination. We check, and the vaginal examination in first stage of labor is done every 4 hours. So if I am doing a vaginal examination at 9 a.m., then after 4 hours, I will have to come back and do another vaginal examination. Okay, and every time, if your cervix is not dilating well, there is no coordination of the contractions and the cervical dilatation, sometimes we have to maybe fasten that, and we have to make sure that there is a coordination. And the only way we can do that is by maybe putting a drip of oxytocin to you, so that it can maybe fasten the contractions. So we have to assess the cervical dilatation, then we have to assess your contractions, because we believe there should be a coordination. So you have to go from mild to moderate to strong, though some might go direct from mild direct to strong. it depends. People are different, uteruses are different too. And then also we have to check the membranes. If your membranes have ruptured, if your waters have ruptured, we have to check what is the color of those waters, and that will also determine whether we will continue waiting for your labor to progress, or we'll rather remove that baby through a cesarean section. In case the heartbeat is also not okay, the membrane, sometimes the water is clear, but the heartbeat also starts to misbehave. Sometimes it is too high, 180, 190, that is very abnormal. Sometimes the heartbeat is too low, it is 1 or something, 100, that is too low for your baby, for an unborn baby. So in case also the heartbeats of the babies are, the baby is misbehaving, that one we also have to deliver the baby as soon as possible. We cannot wait until your labor gets to the second stage of labor. So basically, that is the first stage of labor. So guys, I hope you have learned something. Kindly continue watching and commenting. Do not forget to subscribe. Share this to a lot of people. Let us educate each other, the mothers out here, so that we get a lot of knowledge. Remember, knowledge is power. So keep locked here at Shirona's YouTube channel. Thank you.